Welcome to the Career Q Snap. Today we are talking to our regular contributor, Sandra Fischer, about vision boarding. Welcome, Sandra.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me, what is a vision board?
A vision board is one of my favorite things just to start with. And I probably did my first vision board about 6 or 7 years ago. And ever since then, I've been incredibly passionate about them because they are really life-changing. But a vision board is really a powerful statement about what you really want in your life using images. And, you can build them really about anything you want in your life. So it can be an overall life vision. It can be maybe about what you want in your career or your job, what you want in relationships, or if you're thinking of moving and want a new living space, a trip you want to take. They really can be about anything that you want to manifest in your life, which is a word that I love, manifest, because it's all about bringing in really positive, wonderful things that make you happy.
I love that too, manifest. Yes, you can manifest these things in your life. So when should somebody create a vision board?
Right away.
Immediately.
Immediately go home right now and make one. I see a lot of people wanting to do them when they're at a crossroads and they really are thinking about making some change in their life. And so that's a lot of times the impetus for doing it. But again, I go back to, I really think people need to just take the time and sit down, and it enables them to sort of focus their energy. And how vision boards work is we have a lot of filters, just psychological filters that we use every day. And what vision boarding does by allowing you to connect with the images and respond to the images without a lot of filtering, which, I can't do that. I don't have enough resources. I could never take that trip this year. I couldn't afford this. And it allows you to put together really what your heart desires versus, kind of a filtered list of goals that we want to do. So it takes it to a whole new place that gets really at the heart of what it is you want in your life.
I love that. So it's sort of forward thinking and possibly is it bigger than what you is practical, maybe, because if I was to sit down, it's not my to-do list.
Not your to-do list. It's actually even more than goals. It's about the feeling that you want to create in your life. And so one of the quotes that I really love using when I coach using a vision board is hold the vision, trust the process. And so by putting your intentions out there and focusing your energy on those intentions, and not necessarily your go-get-'em, do-it energy, but your energy of what you desire, then that can actually cause the world to shift and move and bring the right things to you, so then you have things that you can actually take advantage of.
Okay, how do I do that? How do I make a vision board?
Well, it's, I think the biggest challenge for people in doing this is that they set aside enough time, enough quiet time to really be able to focus on it and do it right. It's not something you want to just insert into, your evening dinner hour. And it's like, well, I'm just going to cut out some magazines while I stir the taco meat over here. You really want to give yourself at least a couple, if not 3 hours, to sit down and really be able to focus on what it is that, going through the magazines. And surprisingly, and this is really kind of comes a lot from that energetic, metaphysical place, but more often than not, I see people put these boards together and things really surprise them. Things that they didn't expect would be on their board that are really something that's telling them about their life and their purpose and what it is that they want. So how I would recommend people go about it is set aside 2 to 3 very quiet hours and go to a place where you can either gather with a friend or friends, find a coach that does it if you don't want to do it on your own. Grab some magazines and a board, and it can be we've done them on very tiny boards that are almost slightly larger, than a giant greeting card. And some of the boards are 2 by 3 feet. So I have
Wow.
I have 5 different vision boards.
And are they
right
poster board? Is it a big wooden board? Do I go to Home Depot, get plywood?
It can be anything you want, but generally I use chipboard. So something that's firm enough. You can also use cut up a cardboard box if you want. Don't make it complicated.
Right.
But, I use something that tends to be a little bit more solid and won't warp or bend, and that can actually support the weight of the paper. And the way that the process works is you have a stack of magazines and you just start thinking about what your question is, which is, when I did my first one, it was like, what is it that I really want in my life? What do I want it to look like? So I went through the magazines and I would pull photographs and images of things that called to me. And I didn't overthink it. I didn't question it. And I would pull them out and set them aside in a pile. And then once I felt like I had a sufficient number of images, sometimes it can take about an hour's worth of looking. I would go back through and I would sort them. And it's amazing. It becomes very clear what works and what doesn't, what you want to keep and what you don't. And then you create a pile of the yes. And then you start to lay them out on your board. And again, I can't describe it anything other than sort of a magical process of how it kind of comes out. And people are always asking me, well, how should I lay them out? And I said, well, just where it feels right. And at the end, they're always like, wow, that was amazing. And I have one of my best friends is an attorney. And the first time she did hers, she was very skeptical. And I had to drag her kicking and screaming. I'm like, no, really, you have to do this. She rolled her eyes at me and then sat down. And then afterwards, she became my biggest advocate for doing vision boards. And she loved it. And she was kind of amazed at what it pulled out for her. So I've met people who, after they did their vision boards a year later, they came to me and they said, I just wanted you to know that I pulled out my vision board and everything that I had on there in the last year has come to pass. Or, they'll say the trip that I had planned, I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I did. And I have Egypt on my board, and I was in Egypt 3 months ago.
Wow.
So it's really that power of setting intentions and then taking advantage of the opportunities as they move your way.
So once I've gotten my board, I've gone through the magazines, I've pulled out, things that sort of call to me that I think that's what my future should look like, and I've figured out how I want to arrange them, and that comes together. Now what do I do with my board?
I recommend to people that they put it where you can see it on a regular basis. For some people, that's in the bathroom where they brush their teeth. Other people, it's on their dresser. Some people, it's in their kitchen windowsill. I have one at the foot of my bed. One is next to my bed. One's on my desk. So I have some related to work, and those usually sit by my PC. The ones that are more related to my life are next to my bed. And they're just beautiful. I mean, they're almost pieces of art about things that you love and that appeal to you. So what better thing to fall asleep to or wake up to than this beautiful vision of what you want in your life? So I love that. And really pay attention to what crosses your path after you make it, and you just look at it, and it makes you feel good. So the more of those feel-good feelings you're putting out in the world, the more of that actually comes back to you. And that is really one of the biggest powers of the vision boarding process, is what you can create by what you put out and what comes back. Right.
And I like that you mentioned that you have different boards focused on different things. You've got some that are focused on your career goals and where you want to take that, and one that's focused on, family, and you can keep those in different spots, and they probably look similar but different still, with different goals there. Well, this has been fascinating, Sandra, and I love that. Everybody should go out and think about making a vision board. And if people want to learn more about vision boarding, where can they go?
There's a lot of resources, but if you want just a quick look, one of my websites, Sandra K. Fischer, FISCHER.com, has a section on there about vision boarding, and you can see a picture of a vision board on that page, which is essentially a giant artistic collage about things that you love. And that's a first place to start. But there's also lots of books out there, some websites and things like that. And if you're more technically minded, there are ways that you can do it online. Pinterest, in some ways, is a form of a vision board.
Oh, interesting.
But I think I prefer to take them out of that sort of technical realm and really have them more tactile. I think I love technology, but this is one of those things that I think speaks to you if you have it right in front of you and you can touch it and see it and really resonate with the images.
Great. Now I'm stoked. So I need to run home
right now,
and start my vision board. So thank you. This has been so fantastic. I'm excited to start my vision board. So
it's a super fun process. And if you want to sit down, let's do it.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Thanks so much.
That was a Career Q snack. And for more information about our topics, go to thecareerq.com.